I'm going to try to go through some memories where I refresh you old heads and let you young ones know about some. All right, here we go. Mother Basil was the Andre the Giant of the Brazilian nuns. She was 7 feet 4, 450 pounds, and she talked as if she had a lemon in her mouth all the time. But in reality, she was only 6 feet 4, 250 pounds, and she really was a nice lady. But she stayed close to the Teddy Roosevelt philosophy, except a little different. She talked loudly and she carried a big stick. No punishment was worse than being sent to Mother Basil's room. I mean, in order of increasing severity for punishment, there was yelling, kneeling with your hands up in the air, the yardstick, the pointer, reform school, 1 to 2 years, 5 to 10 years, the electric chair, then you were sent to Mother Basil's room. Now in reality, all you got were a few smacks and a stand in the corner. But for an 8-year-old kid, the dread of anticipation let his imagination run wild. Mother Basil was innovative, though. We got to give her credit for that. She came up with a new time standard, the Ukrainian Standard Time. Now this time runs 2.5 hours ahead of the Eastern Standard Time, and it's used exclusively for school functions such as Easter procession. The Easter procession began at 6 a.m. in the morning, which means that if you implement Ukrainian Standard Time, you had to show up at 3:30 in the morning. Now I know more than a few altar boys that showed up with their pajamas under their cassocks and dalmatics. But I just want to let you know that this had a residual positive effect on me as an adult. I'm never late for work, and when I show up to parties, I'm always there in time to cut the vegetables and put out the cheese dip. I'll tell you, it's great seeing some of my fellow graduates there, especially someone like Bo Bondarenko back there. I remember Bo as being a nice guy, but he was a tough guy. I mean, in 8th grade, he was voted most likely to take a life. Back in the 2nd grade, the teacher asked him what comes after a sentence. He said, you make an appeal. Good to see you, Bob. Now, I can't go any further without talking about the person that's most rewarding to see, and that's Sister Frances. Sister Frances was our original flying nun. Now, there's no truth to the rumor that she quit the convent in order to go to Hollywood and make movies with Burt Reynolds. She was the unofficial activities coordinator of the school, and she always used to play ball with us at recess. And in fact, it was right here when this place was a schoolyard instead of a bingo hall, auditorium. She was also in charge of the altar boys, and 2 of my most tender memories involved Sister Frances and the altar boys. The first one was when Walter Bednarski, at an altar boy meeting, brought in this fake thrower from a novelty store. And during a meeting in the chapel, Sister Frances was talking when she was interrupted by Walter's upraised hand. She said, what is it? He said, he's sick. She looked down on the floor. She said, go clean it up. Whereby Walter just reached down and picked this thing up. Well, it was really neat to see Sister Frances, usually rosy complexion, turn a chalky white. But my personal most tender memory occurred in about the 5th or 6th grade. The chapel just got a new set of bells for consecration and communion. The old bell was just one of those big gongs that you just went bang, bang, bang. But this new bell was a 4-note xylophone, which just went boom, boom, boom. And the first time I heard that, it sounded as if Lionel Hampton himself was up there playing that xylophone. Well, I had to get a chance to ring these bells. And in a few weeks at a Friday altar boy meeting, Sister Frances asked for a volunteer for Sunday church. My hand shut up, and I had 48 hours to get ready to ring those bells. Well, I memorized this, and as I showed up for church that day, I was nervous, but I was confident. The problem is no one taught me how to ring these bells. So when scratch, scratch, scratch rolled around, instead of boom, 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 you heard a boop, 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 because I didn't realize you had to take the hammer off the bells to let it vibrate. So I started to panic, as any 10-year-old kid would. And as consecration rolls around, you heard a boop, boop, and then a boop, 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 and then a boop, boop, boop. And then Father Cadet drinks from the chalice, you hear a boop. Well, by that time, I was reddish purple, totally embarrassed and totally confused. Well, next Friday, altar boy meeting came around. Sister Frances walks in with xylophone and hammer in hand. I gulp. William Wassalaika, will you please come up here? I slink up to the front of the room. How come you didn't tell me that you didn't know how to ring these bells? You don't hit this like this, boop, boop, boop. You hit this like this, boom, boom, boom. She was using my forehead for demonstration purposes. And also so that the lesson would sink in. Well, it would have been a great story if I went on to become the next Lionel Hampton, but unfortunately it's just one of the tender memories of the early years. And it's funny when you talk to someone who didn't go here, but it's not as funny as when you talk it over with a fellow graduate. We have that chance to do that here tonight, so take full advantage of it. Let's not wait another 23 years to do this. If we wait another 23 years, we'll be eligible for that Ed McMahon insurance that they sell on TV. Now, before I leave here, I want to say one more thing. Amidst all the torture and the bloodletting that went on here, somehow or another, we seem to get a good education from this place. We didn't realize this until we got a lot older. I mean, in high school and in college, and maybe some of you experienced this also. When I was asked what grade school I went to, I mumbled something like Josaphat. And people said, St. Joseph's? And I said, no, St. Josaphat's. And they said, well, where is that, and what is it? And I said something, well, it's just a little Ukrainian Catholic grade school, a long shirt and dick in, and I mumbled my way out of it. Well, as you get older, you start to realize that this place has a great reputation as a private Catholic school. So now, being mature and older, when asked what grade school I went to, I just arch my back and say in great pride and maturity, St. Josaphat's. You want to make something of it? All right, thanks, and have a great time.
Thanks for those fond memories, Lord. We asked quite a few people if they wanted to speak, and William was one of the first to volunteer. I gotta give him great credit, because it takes a lot of courage to get up here. And I never thought William would be the one to be up here. But I really thank him from the deepest of my heart.